From the debate to New York taking Trump's businesses and taking control of the Trump Tower away from Trump, to the government shutdowns, we're going to be talking about all of that and more on today's episode.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
But before we talk about those things, we have a crisis in the United States, and that crisis is the tipping problem that we have here in the United States. From a person who actually works in tips. When you get a coffee, you are expected to tip. When you are picking up food, you are expected to tip. When you are at a self-checkout, you are expected to tip. We can now say that this tipping thing has gotten way out of hand. It is one thing to tip when it is necessary or when you want to show appreciation, but it's another thing entirely to just expect that. It's another thing to just say that you're going to be thanked in the form of money, especially if you're just doing the bare minimal and nothing more. Nothing more in the respect of going out of your way for someone else, like a customer, like helping them decide what to choose on the menu or asking them if you can help them carry something out. It's sad but true to say that the more people act like this guy.
I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
You're welcome.
That was rude. The total cost of her order of breadsticks and a medium pizza, $22.78. So the $5 she gave the DoorDash delivery guy comes out to a 22% tip.
We're all going to be lumped in the same exact group as this guy, and people will leave with a bad taste in their mouth after tipping if we all act like this. Making a scene because of the fact that you think that you deserve more only makes people want to tip less, and people are already doing that. So what's the solution? We need to go back to a time where you were tipped for not only doing your job, but doing it the best and giving people a pleasant experience. You can't be rude to someone and then expect that they're going to tip you. Vice versa. You can't be mad at somebody because you were nice to them because of the fact that they didn't leave a tip. In the world of today, when a dollar doesn't even mean anything to anyone, you would think that people wouldn't fuss about a few dollars, but nonetheless, therein lies the problem. The people who are just doing the bare minimum at their job are not expecting a few dollars, they are expecting $5, $10 in today's age. You would think that that would be some sort of understanding with everything being so expensive. No one is about to throw 15% more down the drain, especially when you're not even going out of your way for them. The solution is to have more gratefulness in the world. This is only done by, dare I say it, not tipping as much. Yes, this is coming from a person who relies on tips. If you feel as though someone is not going above and beyond for you, don't go above and beyond for them. I know that I will continue to stay humble and appreciate the little things, even if it's only a couple cents to a $20 bill. I treat every single person that appreciates me in the form of tipping as a thank you, and I treat each customer the same no matter how much or how little they tipped, especially in today's economy. So in conclusion, we need to go back to a time when you not only tipped people for them doing their job, but when they went out of their way for you. And for those working in the fields where you get tipped, you need to earn your tip or you get nothing. Capiche? With that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. Okay, so moving right into the headlines of the week, we actually have an article breaking down exactly what's happening to Trump in New York. So what's happening in New York is a very, very messy situation because the DA in New York actually wants to strip Trump of not only his rights as a person, but also his rights as a business owner. So what does the New York fraud ruling mean for Donald Trump's business empire? So the DA just announced that Trump was actually frauding the insurance companies in New York, and not only the insurance companies in New York, but he was also overvaluing the Trump empire in New York City. So this is according to the DA, not me. I can only go based off of the facts that the DA has laid out. Obviously, the DA is extremely corrupt. The DA is extremely political, and the DA has it out for Trump. We have those facts out of the way, okay? I want to start off by saying that. Now, with that being said, if you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes, okay? If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Two things can be right at the same exact time, and I have said this since the very beginning. Yes, you can say that this is a highly politicized event that is going on in New York City. Yes. In Manhattan and New York and as a state more broadly. But what you can say at the same exact time is, yes, these are political events. These are highly politicized events. Yes, yes, yes. Okay? But the second can be true. Yes, he did do these crimes. Okay, I need to alliterate that he did do these crimes. Okay, just because of the fact that you are a former president does not mean that you can get away with these crimes, especially when there's a target on your back with neon red signs pointed towards your back on top of the target. When you have people looking at you with a magnifying glass on top of another magnifying glass on top of another magnifying glass, you do not do stupid things like this, okay? Just because of the fact that other people like Hillary Clinton got away with documents like this, okay, this isn't the specific document case, but let's just say that more broadly. Just because of the fact that Hillary Clinton got away with having documents on her personal servers inside of her house after she burnt it, after she bleach bit it, trying to cover up the fact that she had documents leaked in the United States of America. Okay, just because this happened with Hillary Clinton and she did not be prosecuted, she was not prosecuted, then it does not mean that you're going to get away with it. Okay, just because Joe Biden has documents inside of his unlocked garage where Chinese officials with Hunter Biden met frequently does not mean that you can get away with having classified documents inside of your house. Two things can be true at the same exact time, and it's aggravating that people are not noticing this. Yes, two things can be right at the same exact time. It's not, oh, one or the other. No, two things can be right at the same exact time. Now, what does this actually mean for Donald Trump's business empire? Let's find out from Reuters. So, this is from September 27th. The fate of Donald Trump's business empire hangs in the balance after a New York judge stripped control of his key properties from the former United States president as a punishment for his repeated and prevalent fraud over their violations. Here's a look at the ruling and its implications for Trump, the frontrunner for the 2024 presidential nomination. What does the ruling say? Democratic New York Attorney General Latina James filed a civil lawsuit against Trump, his adult sons, and nearly a dozen business entities in September 22nd, alleging they inflated their value assets by billions of dollars to secure more favorable loan and insurance terms. Okay, so that right there is exactly what everybody else does in New York, okay? Just because of the fact that you inflated your assets does not mean that you're not going to pay billions of dollars or millions of dollars in taxes for those said assets. So, he's not the only one benefiting from this. The insurance companies are the one benefiting from this. New York is the one benefiting from this because he's paying more tax dollars on this. What's the big deal? So who did he hurt in this? Who did he hurt by lying about assets in New York? Who did he hurt? Who did he benefit? Okay, if we answer those questions, we can see that this is a highly politicized event just because of the fact that he did this stuff and he got caught and he's being tried. Does not mean that he did not commit a crime. Yes, this is a crime, but it's a highly politicized event, okay? And he has red arrows pointing towards the target that's on his back. Justice Arthur Argon of New York State Court in Manhattan ruled on Tuesday that Trump and his co-defendants committed fraud and ordered the cancellation of certificates that some of their businesses need to operate in New York. He also said that they would appoint independent receivers to manage the dissolution of the canceled certificates. The order did not provide a time for the cancellations, and Engron asked the parties to recommend potential receivers within the next 30 days. Trump has denied wrongdoing and said that the case is part of a political witch hunt, of course. What does the ruling mean for Trump's businesses? The immediate impact of the ruling is unclear, as Trump's holdings comprise of a network of roughly 500 entities spanning real estate, licensing, and other business ventures. The ruling covers 10 Trump entities, which includes pillars of Trump's empire, including his commercial property at 40 Wall Street in Manhattan, Gulf Resort in Scotland, and Mar-a-Lago Resort in Palm Beach, Florida. Independent receivers would continue to operate the properties as businesses or liquidate them. Through Trump would likely be entitled the proceeds of any sale, legal experts say. Engon declined to answer whether the assets would be sold or simply managed by an independent receiver when asked by one of Trump's lawyers during a hearing on Wednesday, saying he would rule on that question later. What comes next in the case? Trump's lawyers have said that they will appeal the decision, which they described as an outrageous attempt to nationalize one of the most successful corporate empires in the United States, and seize control of our private property. Oh, I can't talk. Trump could also seek a stay or a pause of the court's order pending approval, which would likely be met with a request by James to block any asset transfers while the case plays out. A trial is scheduled to begin on Monday. Before the Engon's fraud ruling, it would largely be limited to how much Trump and his co-defendants must pay in penalties. James is seeking at least $250 million and asked the court to permanently bar Trump from serving as an officer or director of any businesses in New York and prohibit him from acquiring any real estate or applying for a loan in the state for 5 years. So this is like a bankruptcy type style. So they're treating it like a bankruptcy. So that's not just. That's not right. So the fact that they can just step in and say, nope, I want $250 million, and on top of that, you cannot open up any other businesses in the state of New York. If this is not a red flag, okay, if this is not an alert going off in your head saying that we need to leave the state of New York right now. Everybody that's in New York right now that has this business can get their business taken from them in this highly politicized world that we're living on, that is not purely focused on facts and that is not purely focused on justice for the people that were suffering because of this. Who suffered because of the fact that Trump inflated his asset valuation? Who suffered? Nobody suffered, okay? Usually you have to say, no, listen, because of this, everybody suffered because of that. In which case did people suffer in this case? No. All you're saying is, oh, you're committed fraud. Okay, so how are you not benefiting from me committing fraud? Because the state of New York made more money in taxes because of the fact that Trump inflated his assets. The insurance companies made more money on him because of the fact that he inflated his assets. Everybody around the table were making more money because Trump was making more money. So why are we sitting here saying that this is a bad thing, that all the other businessmen in New York do not do this? Yes, they do. But the only thing is, like I said, Trump has a red arrow pointed towards a red neon target sign that's on his back as he dances around. You cannot miss the target sign. If you do something wrong on top of a target sign on your back, then they're going to sit here and prosecute you to the heavens and back, okay? They're going to prosecute you because of the fact that they know that it's an easy target. Not only that, but they already want to get you. So they're looking for a reason. So easy to understand. It's so easy to understand, okay? With that being said, we're going to be digging into the media's takes.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to be starting off with a CNN article. And for the for the first CNN article, we're actually going to be talking about the government shutdown. Now, if you do go on the CNN main page, we can actually see that the government shutdown could shut down in 14 hours, 13 minutes, and 40 seconds, 39 seconds, 38 seconds. Okay, listen, this government shutdown, okay, if it shuts down, it's not, okay? Joe Biden needs to create a deal, come up with a deal with the House Republicans to make the economy continue. Okay, we cannot have a government shutdown, but if we do, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. Okay, CNN's going to break down exactly what happened, what may happen. Okay, federal agencies are making final preparations with the government on the brink of a shutdown, and congressional lawmakers racing against Saturday's crucial midnight deadline. But the likelihood of averting a shutdown appears slim after House GOP Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Friday again failed to find agreement within his own party to extend government funding, leaving Congress at an impasse. Infighting among House Republicans has played a central role in bringing Congress to a standoff over spending, and it is not yet clear how the issue will be resolved, raising concerns on Capitol Hill that a shutdown, if triggered, may not be an easy end. McCarthy also faces threats to be ousted from his job if he works with Democrats, as he faces consistent resilience from the hardline conservatives in his own party. Okay, so those conservatives, the Freedom Caucus, people, listen. Do you have somebody that's better than Kevin McCarthy? No, you don't. Can he win? Okay, yes, you can say whatever. Oh, I have somebody that's better than Kevin McCarthy. Okay. I'm going to call your bluff. Can he win? Okay. Can your person that you like better than Kevin McCarthy actually win? Because I may agree with you, the person that you have instead of Kevin McCarthy could be better, but can he win? No, he can't. So how about if you just sit down, relax for a moment, enjoy Kevin McCarthy while we got him, okay? Get some stuff down with Kevin McCarthy, concede, and make sure that this government shutdown does not happen, because if this government shutdown does happen, it's going to be a hard win in 2024. So would you rather win 2024 or have your agree with a person that you don't necessarily agree with? It's like person that you have beef with. Like you get teamed up for a science project and you're like, I don't like you. Okay, but are you going to get the grade or are you going to sit here and act like a baby? We are grown adults now for the next 14 hours. Can you put this thing aside and cooperate? Okay, get along with the enemy for a moment. Maybe once you start trying to get along with him, maybe you're going to see that he's not so bad and maybe we can get some more things done because we're men, okay? Men do not sit here and have petty little drama with somebody that you do not like in the heat of the moment. So this is very disgusting that the Freedom Caucus is sitting here doing stuff like this, and the fact that the House GOP will need to, right now, this is 9:49 a.m. EST on Saturday. They already met behind closed doors on 9:30 a.m. ET. So they've already been meeting for the last 20 minutes already. Okay, he definitely, okay, so it's not just Kevin McCarthy, it's also House Republicans that need to sit here and say, listen, we need to come up with a plan, okay? Reading from the article, quote, after meeting with House Republicans this evening, it's clear that the misguided Senate bill has no path forward and it's dead on arrival. McCarthy wrote on X, the House will continue to work around the clock to keep government open and prioritize the needs of the American people. His late Friday night message came after a 2-hour conference meeting with Capitol, where McCarthy floated several different options, including putting the Senate bill on the floor or passing a short-term bill that excludes Ukraine money. But there's no consensus on what, if anything, they will put on the House floor Saturday to avoid a government shutdown. McCarthy suffered another high-profile defeat on Friday when the House failed to advance a last-ditch stopgap bill. House GOP leadership has told members that further votes are now expected on Saturday, but it is not yet clear what the chamber will vote on. In the aftermath of Friday's vote, McCarthy told reporters that he proposed putting up a clean stopgap bill, and he said that he will be working through maybe to be able to do that. We're continuing to work through trying to find a way out of this, McCarthy said. The Senate's bipartisan bill would provide additional funds for Ukrainian aid. That's stupid, creating a point of contention with the House, where many Republicans are opposed to further support to the war-torn country. I think that, okay, so this is McCarthy right here. I think that if we had a clean one without Ukraine on it, we would probably be able to move that through. I think if Senate puts Ukraine on there and focuses on Ukraine over America, I think that would cause real problems, he told CNN. So, yeah, and I completely agree. We need to be focusing on America, especially because of the fact that we're in a debt crisis here, and we need to be more resilient than ever before in this case, okay? We need to make sure that we're actually doing stuff for the American people instead of other countries that can support themselves. So moving into the next article, we actually have an MSNBC article. We have McCarthy GOP critics reportedly eye his possible successor. So, as Kevin McCarthy Republican foes consider a plan to take away his gavel, they're also repeatedly coalescing around a possible replacement. After the 2024 midterm elections, a significant group of House Republicans opposed Rep. Kevin McCarthy's bid to become the next House GOP Speaker, but they struggled to settle on a credible rival. It's one of the reasons the far-right members were only able to delay McCarthy's effort but not stop it. As many of those same House Republicans prepare to take him as the GOP leader again, they seem that they're able to have a better plan in their scheme. They seem to realize that they'll need a better plan in their scheme if their scheme is going to work. Politico realized last week, for example, that McCarthy intra-party foes are privately mulling who they could back if California Republican loses his gravel. That same report, quote, Rep. Dan Bishop, a member of the House Freedom Caucus, saying, Quote, I think that I know who the right person is through the North Carolina Republican would not disclose the name he had in mind. Bishop added, however, that he'd muted the name he has in mind to a couple of other people and have found surprisingly that they have been thinking very much the same thing. 2 days later, Matt Gaetz, but by most measures McCarthy's most ardent GOP foe, was a little less Gagey during an on-air interview. Our whip, Tom Emmer, is someone who has a lot of credibility, the Florida Republican told Newsmax. It was against the backdrop that the Washington Post reported last night. The reporting, which has not been independently verified by MSNBC or NBC News, added that some far-right members are coinciding around nominating a member of McCarthy's leadership team, Rep. Tom Emmer, to be the next speaker if they can successfully oust McCarthy. Politico published a related report suggesting that Rep. Andy Biggs has also privately raised the House Majority Whip as a potential McCarthy successor, through the Arizona Republican denied the accuracy of the reporting. There's a variety of There's a variety of questions hanging over the process, none of which has any answers. The first, of course, is whether far-right GOP members would actually force the issue. It's becoming increasingly easy to believe that such a shutdown will happen. The McCarthy's Republican opponents will try to take advantage of the chamber's motion to vacate the chairs rule. At the point, it will simply be a matter of the majority rule. If the incumbent House Speaker can maintain the support of a majority of respective representatives from both parties, he'd keep his gravel. If McCarthy's support fell short of a majority, he'd lose his gravel. As for whether Emmer would want such a gig, the Minnesota Republican told the Post, I fully support Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He knows that, and I know that. I have zero interest in palace interrig. End of discussion. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, see, this is the thing, though. They'll say, oh, no, I would rather him to be the House Speaker, but he doesn't even want to be the House Speaker. So what are you talking about? You're just going to vote somebody in? Like, you're just going to tell me to be the House Speaker? I don't want to do that. You're just going to say, oh, Demetrius Urido, go. No, I'm not going to do that. Just like how they tried to get, what's his name? Senator Rand Paul, or they tried to get other people that are not even running. They said that Trump, like Matt Gaetz said, Donald Trump, you go. Like, Trump does not want to be the House Speaker. No, he wants to be the president. That's first of all. Second of all, these people do not realize how much stress you actually go through as the House Speaker. Why would you sign up for that? Okay, Kevin McCarthy is going through hell and back just because of the fact that he's not as conservative as many other Republicans. Okay, just because he's not conservative, he got the support. He actually won. Now, what we need to do is we need to band together and say, listen, you're going to do this, this, and this, okay? You're going to help us get this, this, and this through. We're going to work together as a team, okay? I'll support you if you support me. Let's sign this into contract and let's get things done, okay? We're here, okay? We need to get things done. That's the most important part here. Now, with that being said, we're going to be moving into the next article, which is a Daily Wire article. Moving right into the Daily Wire article, we actually have top Biden allies want president to ditch flagging Bidenomics message. Of course, do you not realize exactly what our economy is going through at the moment? Do you not realize that our economy is in shambles and him saying Bidenomics only makes us Republicans look better? No, keep saying that. Keep saying that your Bidenomics is working. My Bidenomics is working. We have $5 a gallon gas. Oh, don't you love it? We have $6 per dozen eggs. Oh, don't you love it? And the price of meat is a sky high, okay? You can't even afford to go to the grocery store. Never mind buying anything. Ha! Bidenomics is working, Americans. Vote for me. Take a swallow. Okay, no. It's not working, okay? We want you, as Republicans, to keep saying Bidenomics. My economic plan is working. Okay, no. It's not, or it is, because you actually want this to happen to us, because you hate America. Thus, you should not win the election. Okay, that's exactly what we should be saying here. keep saying Bidenomics because of the fact that we know Bidenomics is working because you hate us Americans. Okay? Top allies of President Joe Biden are reportedly urging him to ditch the Bidenomics message as the president's approval on the economy continues to drag. The White House has sold the economic agenda to voters as Bidenomics, trying to take advantage of a post-pandemic return to normalcy after widespread shutdowns put millions of Americans out of work. The economic recovery has dragged. However, under high inflation and interest rate hikes, the Federal Reserve, now top Biden allies, are attempting to persuade the White House to ditch the Bidenomics tagline as polls show ugly returns for Democrats on economic issues. Quote, with all due respect to the president, to the White House, this is not so much about them as it is people who are benefiting by the policies that they come out with and demanded. Rep. Stephen Hartsford, Democrat from NV chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, said, according to Politico, quote, we have to do a better job framing this, not so much for one person for the office of the presidency, but for the people. Progressive Policy Institute president Will Marshall said that the Biden administration's economic message is not selling. The White House needs to change its track to find a more promising line as Democrats prepare for a 2024 elections. At this point, Bidenomics doesn't really have strong answers to people's biggest worries. Marshall said, there ought to be a lot of thinking in the White House now about changes in the way that they present their case for the economic good that this administration has done. What good has this administration done? Nothing. On Tuesday, an NBC News poll showed Republicans with the largest edge over Democrats on Americans' perception of economic issues ever in the history of a poll. The poll taken on September 15th through the 19th found that 49% of Americans favor Republicans' economic policy as opposed to 28% who favor Democratic policy. The poll also found Republicans with an advantage in the slate of other top issues. Republicans led Democrats beyond the margin of error on the issues of border security, 50% for Republicans, 20% for Democrats. Crime, 46% to 20%. Immigration, 45% to 27%. And protecting congressional rights, 43%, 35%. Democrats held sizable leads on the issues of education, 30 to 40%. Coronavirus, 26 to 37%. So nobody wants to talk about that. Abortion, 28% to 46%. Democrats think of it a little bit more. And healthcare, 22% to 45%. Okay, so the top thing for Republicans right now is crime. Okay, and protecting congressional rights. But the top thing for Democrats is abortion and healthcare, which that and COVID, okay? But this has always been the case, though, because we keep giving them free stuff. So as soon as you talk about getting rid of those free stuff, they're going to say, oh, wait, no, we're worried about this now. Are you going to get rid of my mask? No, I can't show my face. Why? I can't drive alone in my car without a mask. What if my car has corona, okay? What if my air vents have virus particles in them? I need to put on my mask. Okay, put on your mask then. Nobody cares, okay? The other thing that it is maybe not expecting in these phrases, protecting our constitutional rights and protecting democracy. These are things where overall the electorate thinks Republicans are more focused and would do a better job than Democrats, he continued. And I completely agree. Republicans have always been doing a better job at keeping our congressional rights, but Democrats have always been at the forefront of taking them away. With that being said, we do have another article. We actually have it from the Daily Wire. We have RFK Jr. to announce that he's running for president as an independent. Of course, he was always an independent, but independents don't win. And all that independents do is consolidate the voters. They take it from the Republican side and they take it from the Democrat side, and that's about it. Okay, they don't win though. Independents do not win. So I hope that he does. I don't mind him as a candidate, but also at the same exact time, Democrats want him to run in the Democratic side so then they can band together for whoever the nominee is, and they already know that the nominee is going to be Joe Biden, so they just want everybody to just vote for Joe and take a swallow. Okay, that's all that they want to do. So let's move on to the article here. Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is reportedly set to announce that he will run for president as an independent. Kennedy expected to make an announcement early next week while in Pennsylvania, according to a report from Mediarite. The report said that Kennedy is planning attack ads against the Democratic Party that he will be aired prior to his announcement. The campaign insider told the publication Bobby feels like the DNC is changing the rules to exclude his candidacy, so an independent run is the way to go. Shortly after the meteorites report was published, Kennedy released a video on X saying that he would be in Philadelphia on October 9th to make a major announcement at this very birthplace of our nation. I'm not going to tell you exactly right now what that announcement will be. He said, I can say though that I've been waiting to come to one of my public events. This will be the one to go to. I'll be speaking about a sea change in the American politics and what your part and my part is in that change. Quote, a lot of Americans who had previously given up any hope that real change would ever come through an American electoral process would begun to find new hope in my candidacy. He said, and I understand that deeply felt concern that people have about the way corruption has overtaken our government. Kennedy took shots at the leadership. Now, what I've come to understand after 6 months of campaigning, there's a path for victory. The hope we are feeling isn't some kind of trick of the mind, he said. We all recognize that there is a genuine possibility of a national transformation, and it's the source of goodness in the American people. Our government may be crooked, but our people are kind, brave, and caring. So, how are we going to win against the established Washington interests? He continued, quote, it's not going to be through playing their game by the corrupt. It's not through playing the game of the corrupt rules and the corrupt powers and the vested interests have rigged to keep us all in their thrall. Instead, we're going to have to rewrite the assumptions and change the habits of the American politics. And I completely agree. So if you do not like the way that they hold elections, if you do not like the way that they do that or this and that and this, then run outside of them and win. Change those things. Run based off of changing them. Use those things to win and then change them for everybody else. Okay? That's exactly the way to do. That's exactly how you wield political power. So I do not care about the Democrats wielding political power as long as the Republicans do the same. If the Republicans go in, don't wield political power, then yes, I'm going to care about the Democrats doing their political power because the Republicans out just who are in there should have done the same exact thing that the Democrats were doing. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening, and I do hope that you enjoyed this Saturday show. If you did enjoy this special Saturday broadcast, then please like and subscribe down below because I do post new episodes of the show regularly every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and shorts all in between. Thank you all for watching, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.